Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to the weekly chill with Scarpad. Hope everybody's having a good Sunday and not getting too paranoid sheltering in place. Let me make sure I'm up and running here. Look at that. It's a miracle of modern technology. So how everybody doing? Just kind of chill out here on a Sunday and talk a little comics, talk a little isolation, talk a little anything you want to talk about. Drop some links so we may even get a few special guests here. Hope you all are having a good weekend and not finding it too confining being inside. Hope you're reading some good books. I know I did this week. Actually, this week was a phenomenal week. I'm not quite done with my books yet. I read a lot of independence. I would say 90% independence. I don't think I read any mainstream books this week, DC or Marvel. Probably because I don't, I have those coming in mail order and I haven't gotten them yet. But even so, I would say almost 100% read independent titles. I was pretty impressed by the AWA titles that came out this week. I did get a chance to read all those. ADA Upshot released 4 different titles. Archangel 8. They also released The Resistance, Hotel Hell, and Red Border. I read all of them, and I liked all of them. I would say my number one book was probably going to be, of those 4, Hotel Hell. Creepy as hell, man. That baby with no eyes falling out of the mother, and it was kind of creepy. I enjoyed it though. It's good. A good anthology horror book is hard to find. So hopefully, like Ice Cream Man, this will set up right beside it and be a good one. The ending of the book was a little nuts. If you guys want to discuss that ending, it came out kind of abrupt. Kind of reminded me, it's interesting. I read that and then I watched that new Invisible Man movie and thinking about it, that Hotel Hell owed a lot to Invisible Man and vice versa. They were similar stories when you think about it, except one had a baby from hell, the other one didn't. And one had an invisible man and the other one didn't. Other than that, I would say Resistance was the next one I really enjoyed. Tough story to get through, especially what's going on now, but good story, great artwork, really interesting setup of what's going on. So be interested to see where that goes. A big J. Michael Straczynski fan since going back to Babylon 5 and some of the other comic work he's done. So I enjoyed that one quite a bit. I would say probably the least 2 would be Red Border and Archangel 8. Probably Archangel 8 would probably be my least favorite of the bunch. It was a good book, but we'll see where it goes. Red Border almost seems like it's going to be a horror book, although there really is no horror in the book as of yet, although the ending kind of portrays that we're going to get a wacky family taking in the refugees maybe in the next book. But the first issue of Red Border is pretty much straight immigrant tale of this duo, escaping some sort of calamity and trying to get into Mexico. Anybody want to drop in here? You're welcome to do it. I dropped some links in the IG, so feel free to jump in. And then Archangel 8, as I said, probably my least favorite of the 4, although all 4 books I'll be reading the issue 2 because I really enjoyed them. Probably in addition to that, I read, all the other independents that came out, Bang, Backtrack. Really enjoyed Artemis and the Assassin. I know Robbie at Pop Culture Philosophers didn't like that book all that much, but I really enjoyed it. I thought the setup was interesting. I love to see time travel stories where they jump through time. And I thought it was an interesting setup what they did. Assassin going back initially and killing Rasputin, and then everything that's going on with Artemis in the 40s with the war. Oh, come on, Perry, you can jump on your phone. Chilling on the couch. I don't know if I should do my picks for the week since a lot of shops are closed. Yeah, something I probably want to discuss about that in a second. And Chaos, how you doing? Batcave is in the house. Chaos Comics in the house. Happy Sunday. Yeah, so Artemis and the Assassin, I really enjoyed that. I'll be picking that up for book 2. Bang continued a great story. We met another agent in this issue, John Shaw, and he finally met up with Thomas McCord at the Thomas Cord at the end of that, and we're gonna see where that story goes. But Bang, I'm loving that. See what else I read. Undone by Blood continued that story. That was fantastic. I tell you, independents are just kicking ass. They're just kicking ass. I mean, there's some good. Obviously, there was some good independent books. I mean, mainstream books this week. But the only two I did read because I almost don't consider these to be mainstream is The Plunge and the other Joe Hill one. Oh, Lola Woods. The Plunge I enjoyed. That continued the story from where I find it just a quirky, interesting story. So The Plunge I like. Lola Woods kind of squandered a little bit of the goodwill from the last issue, which I thought was phenomenal. Set up this weird fucking vibe with sinkholes and lesbians. Two of my favorite things, sinkholes and lesbians. But then it had 9 pages of just squandered, relationship stuff before the story kicked back into the horror. And I think that redeemed itself at the end. But man, the book is wildly inconsistent. Red Mother, I enjoyed. That continued the puzzle box and the Leland Black stuff, so I enjoyed that. Something is Killing the Children started another arc, continuing off where that last one left. Fantastic. And Starship Down was probably the least of the bunch, but it's an interesting story, kind of a Thing vibe mixed with, your typical finding a spaceship in the desert or the Arctic type story. So we're going to see where that's going to go. But I mean, what a week for independence. So I really, 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 really enjoyed them. And I got a bunch I didn't read yet. I picked up the first issue of Kids. I haven't read that yet. I haven't read, what else haven't I read for independence? God Killers. Haven't read that yet. Tried getting through some Alienated. I'm just not digging that story. I don't think I'll be buying it next month. I read about half of issue 2 and I just didn't care. So Alienated, I think, is off my list. Other than that, that's about it. And as I said, I haven't really read any of the mainstream. I'm waiting to get my books. And let's talk about books. I tell you, I haven't got really a lot of my books. And I know I got some emails from, they shipped my books. They ordered all back issues from Midtown. So I know those are coming. The stuff I ordered from DBC, Discount Comic Book Service, I just emailed them to find out. They should ship something. I've already made 2 big payments of like almost $100 each for the last couple of months, and I'm on 2 weeks shipping. So they should have shipped some books out to me, I think, at the 17th of this month, and I haven't gotten anything yet. I haven't even gotten a shipment announcement. Just it shows next shipping. So I think there's some calamity going on there. I have very little ordered from this, I think, from another planet, I think from another world. I got like 4 books coming from them, and they're still shipping. But I think we're definitely going to start seeing some stuff delayed. Now, I did read some stuff online that said some publishers are looking to delay some titles and push them back, so that stuff that's been announced as coming in the next few upcoming weeks may not show. So, I'm wondering what's going to happen here. I got $200 in limbo out there in books, and I'm going to question whether I think it's now, I've ordered through May now, is it? We're into May, so probably the next thing coming out will be the June solicitations. I may not place those orders online because, unlike some of the, Think from Another World at least only took your money when they shipped. So when they were getting ready to ship, they took the money and, they shipped the product. But Discount Comic Book Service, they take the money at the 15th of every month for the entire pull. So I'm paying a month full of books, and who knows when these things are going to either one, ship, or two, get delayed to. But what's the alternative? Because, obviously, if that starts happening with books to, vendors online, it's going to happen to the comic book stores too, which aren't open to begin with now. And if they're getting a product now and some of them aren't open or they're doing curbside service, what's going to happen once some of these books start getting delayed and don't show up? So it's really kind of a flux here, but do you want to not order them and then, when they do come in, don't get them? Or do you want to, or do I order them and have my money tied up for the next 4 months and no books come in? It's I don't know. So you guys might be interested to drop in the chat or come out in here and say, what you guys will be doing. There's a man you haven't heard from in a while. It's Perry.
Pig.
Perry's a pig?
He burped. He burped. I said he's a pig.
It was her.
Hey Perry, who you got tied up there? You're not pulling a Billy, are you?
Oh my God. What's that?
Economics and comics. She said, "Oh, how you doing, Scarpad?"
Hey, you shouldn't make your mom wait on you like that. So you've never seen your mom on the stream. Put her on there.
She doesn't want to come on.
You poor mom. Oh, there she is. Oh, that's what you got at Disney, huh? Is that a hand puppet or what?
Yeah, I got my hand up.
Oh, you lost your microphone there for some reason.
Oh, you can't hear me?
No, I think maybe you had the Mickey on the microphone.
I might have.
Yeah, so you've been conspicuously absent from the streams and dropping videos. What have you been doing with your time?
I went 20 hours on Jigs' stream.
You did? I didn't see any of it.
What? Oh my God!
I think I just caught the tail end of Jigs' stream. I was on it for a bit, but you must have been gone already.
Yeah, I went on Jigs' stream, and then last night I went on Two Brothers and Jay Blitz for a little bit. I think today I might make a video. I don't know.
That's mighty nice of you. You gonna make a video about?
Probably like what I'm gonna pick up this week. Nice and simple.
Yeah, what will you be picking up this week? Who knows?
I don't even know.
I'm not sure they're gonna be shipping stuff to the stores. So who knows?
I hope they are.
Yeah. Well, you guys are lucky. I've already paid for everything, but I've gotten nothing. So.
Oh no.
I've already dropped $200 with Discount Comic Book Service. I haven't gotten one thing. So.
Did they ship it?
No. Well, you always paid for like a month in advance, which was okay when books were being shipped. But now, who knows what's going to be happening? So.
I hope my shop is still posting pictures saying they're open and telling people to wash their hands. So I mean, they're still open. They're still selling books.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if my shops are open or not. So I may have to. I don't know if I'm going to pre-order for the next cycle. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah. Maybe I'll just get the stuff I normally get and not anything extra. We'll have to see.
I'm gonna try to find my top indie reads and then message all the writers and be like, "Hey, can I get a free PDF?"
Yeah, not these writers are all gonna be going broke because of the coronavirus, and you want them to give you free stuff. Nice guy. I'm just shipping the books for nothing.
I'm gonna promote them through the tough times that are ahead of us.
Well, what good is promoting the books if no one can read them? That's the problem.
So when this is all over, they'll know exactly what to read.
I suppose. So what did you read? Did you buy any of those new AWA books this week?
The only one my shop had was the Resistance.
Mm-hmm.
But they sent me like 3 or 4 different upshot thick books like that. So I have all the issues. I just haven't read them because they're not in color. So I need to get a coloring pencil out and.
So they sent you black and white versions of the books?
Yeah, of all of the issues. Yeah, even books that haven't came out yet, like Year One, and then the one by Frank Cho, I think.
Now, why did they do that? Just so that they're just not complete? They're not colored yet? Is that the?
Yeah, I have no idea what they're complete. They're not colored. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a separate color, so maybe they just didn't color them yet. But
Yeah.
yeah, that Resistance one was tough to read with everything going on. That was a scary book.
It seems like there's a lot of words.
It did have a lot of words, so yeah, that's probably true.
Is that chaos? No. That's Bubs.
It's Bubs.
What's up, Bubs?
Bubs is a little choppy. I tell you, I think the real thing that suffered in this whole thing has been the internet. Man, it blows. My internet's been slow as hell.
Yeah.
Is that what's going on?
Well, everybody's home, everybody's watching Netflix, and no one's, and it's killing the internet.
I hadn't thought about that. I'm going tomorrow morning to pick up a new router because I can't get decent coverage, and the internet provider is like, "No, it's your router." I'm like, whatever. So I'm going to get their router and then use that so they can't complain.
Yeah, I'm using I'm using usually what the best router is right now. I'm using the provider's router, and it's bad. So it's just I think it's just because everybody's on it. It's just lagging the system. In fact, I was reading they're going to in Europe. They're asking Netflix to only stream standard definition programming so that people can't drain the bandwidth. They'll suck.
Well, didn't they have that? They repealed that net neutrality this past year, so now the ISPs can decide who gets better internet and who doesn't.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's something like this. They'll probably just throttle everybody, I'm sure. But it's been pretty horrible.
If Netflix wants to have more power, they just let Netflix and Hulu and all those services get more bandwidth than say YouTube.
Mm-hmm. So Perry's wait, go ahead.
Not necessarily Star Trek related, but it's the Mariner's rule. The captain is always right. And I'm the captain.
I'm the captain.
I'm the captain. Sort of quasi Star Trek.
Where
related.
you been, Perry? Where you been?
What do you mean? I've been everywhere.
Yeah, Perry's been playing just Call of Duty for the last 40 hours.
I believe that. Just shitting in his diaper over there, right?
Don't play Call of Duty with Perry, though. Perry leaves your ass out to dry. He's always looking for money and stuff. He runs around you, and you're getting shot.
Look at this. Look at this.
I like it.
It's all itchy.
Yeah. I got that no church neck beard going.
Didn't they have online church?
Yeah, I didn't subscribe. I did the trial. Membership, and then my week was up. I didn't sub up.
I haven't walked into a church in years because every time I go in, the roof starts catching on fire, and the holy water burns. So, nothing. I can't do it.
I don't blame you.
So, Bubs, what did you read this week? Anything interesting? You buy any book? Do you read books? Unlike
I read
Perry?
nothing this week.
You read nothing this week?
I don't think I read anything. Let me think.
What the fuck? Is this a comic book channel? Nope. What's going on here?
Yeah, I collect them. I just don't read them as often as I collect them.
that seems to be the growing trend.
Right? Nobody reads them anymore.
I mean, I don't know. I got this, what do you call it? Tablet, right? To read on. And it was really going good for like the first 2-3 weeks. And then I kind of just got tired of it. Yeah.
Now is Dustin?
Hey, is that Dustin?
Is Dustin driving a big rig here? We live in a crate.
He's going to the CDC.
Oh man, I'm on the way home. I just saw that Scarpad sent that link, so I figured, say what's up.
Are you delivering those testing kits? What's going on? Are you delivering those testing kits? I can use one. Ship it over here.
I had to go see my mom for a minute, so just checking in, see if she was good.
He's delivering toilet
Barry
paper.
said that's where he just came back from. I'm a little uncomfortable with this camera angle, Dustin. I mean, I haven't been hitchhiking in a long time, but this reminds me of payment.
Damn.
It's the through the wheel look here.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Through the wheel.
You're gonna give us warning, aren't you? You're gonna give us a warning when you're ready.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of missed out on the whole. Oh God, Perry, no. Tilt that camera back up. Thank you. I
Just
missed
tap
out
me on the head first.
I missed out on the whole Not Vernon video. What was the deal on that?
I missed out on that one too, I guess.
I was in it, but
You were in it, but you missed out.
I was in it, but I wasn't
It's like
part
a
of it.
seesaw.
Man, you're getting me sick here, Perry.
I figured Chaos does this all the time, so I could do it.
Yeah, Chaos is usually sitting inside his garage. It looks like almost looks like he's gonna asphyxiate himself every time he gets on.
He's contemplating it.
Sometimes I think he's just waiting to go around and circle, schoolyards and playgrounds. He puts his hood on. He's gonna drive past schoolyard. Hey.
He's gonna be suicide by car. What is that noise?
That's a blinker.
Wait till I start live streaming from the motorcycle, man. I've ordered a
turn signal and a windshield wiper going.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna hop off. I know I'm making a lot of noise. I was just gonna say hey.
All right, Dustin. Well, if you get back home, give us I'll be here for a little bit.
10-4. Y'all have a good one. Bubs, get your stop us up, bro.
He did the twinkle fingers.
Twinkle fingers. I was gonna ask him if he had read anything, but silly fucking me. No one reads nothing anymore, so why even bother asking? No, I bagged and bought it.
Surely I read something. I'm looking through my little stack right here. I think I read something this week. Nope, I didn't read shit.
Yeah. I asked Dylan to come on here, but he's busy reading. Who knows?
I don't think so. He's playing with peanut butter.
Who?
Dylan. You haven't seen him since he got a job.
He jumped on last night.
They still letting him work? Is he an essential service?
Yeah, he's a gas station guy.
Yeah, that's essential.
I guess it counts, doesn't it?
It's essential. You need gas, man.
So did you say he jumped on Call of Duty last night?
No, he jumped on I think he was on Two Brothers stream last night.
Oh, okay.
Was it that stream?
I haven't seen a live stream in like 3 days. I need to sub up somebody, I guess. I haven't seen anything.
So, Bubs, where do you get your comics from? You have a LCS you go to, or do you get them through the mail?
We just got a new LCS in the neighborhood. Neighborhood is still like 45 minutes away, but it's in the town I work in. So we just got it. It opened up like 2 months ago. So I've been trying to pick up modern books there, and then everything else I get online pretty much. The only modern book I picked up
Chaos comes in, he is walking through his house.
What do you want to eat?
I know. We assume it's his house. we could all be just like
I could be
parties to
squatting.
whatever the hell he's got going on. This is the only book I picked up this week.
Okay, this is on.
Now, Perry, are you sure you don't have a cosplayer tied up there?
Yeah, I'm gonna start painting her. You want me to zoom in?
Oh no.
It's Perry's playhouse with.
Bub, you
puppets.
actually picked up a book that's less than 20 years old.
Absolutely. I'm trying to collect this whole run. This
What, the Star Wars run?
This trading card variant.
That's pretty
set.
Oh,
Star
okay.
Wars is going across like 2 or 3 titles, and there's going to be 36 of them, so they're numbering each one, so it's easy. Someone as stupid and old as me can even figure out which one to pick up next because they numbered the variants. Like, that's what I need to know what the hell's going on.
Are those the IDW ones?
Dustin was just in the
Nick,
car.
are you in the
No,
same?
these are the modern ones.
Jump
These are the
on.
new Marvel Star Wars runs.
Okay.
Just has a
'Cause
variant.
they just finished the movie ones that were numbered variants, so I didn't even see the trading card ones. I just assumed they were the movie ones, so that's pretty cool. What number are they on for those variants?
Number 6 of 6. It's going to be
Okay,
expensive.
yeah, because they just finished.
But I've already got a binder.
Huh?
I've already got a binder, so I'm going to keep them in a binder and put them separate.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, God,
Is this one of the brothers?
Yeah, I was
Also
trying
in
to
the
jump
car.
on with Dustin. I'm driving too, and I saw Scarpad's message. I was like, okay, I'll jump on. And I saw Dustin in here, and by the time I clicked the link, he was gone.
I thought maybe you guys were in one of those special 2-wheeled vehicles.
What now?
I thought maybe you were in the same car
Oh,
together.
damn.
Oh no, we don't even live in the
that-
same state.
Is that a rat terrier? What kind of dog is that? Fox terrier?
I think it is.
That
No.
thing is precious.
Huh? She's a cow
Aw.
dog.
Chaos, did you kidnap that dog, Chaos?
She's a cow
Yeah,
dog.
he went out. He went for a walk around the block, and it's like, oh shit, look at the dog.
Followed him home.
Yeah.
She's a beagle. That's a beagle weenie.
What are you looking for?
Mm.
Is that Hulkbuster?
Oh, that's my favorite kind of weenie.
So did
Oh,
anybody
dude.
else here read The Resistance? I know Perry read the first page and said it was too many words.
I read it.
I
Man,
just asked
the
my
guys on the
OCs.
cover really looks like Ed Harris and Harvey Keitel, don't you think?
I heard that someplace.
Perry, you still haven't read it? I thought you had it to review like a year ago.
Yeah, I got it. Like
Harry's doesn't. Harry's waiting to hear what I say about it.
All these publishers send Perry stuff and they never hear any reviews. He's got a ton of
I
stuff he
have
does.
so many messages of people like, "Hey, did you ever read the first issue?" 'Cause I
Hey,
have the
you ever
second
gonna review that
issue.
stuff we sent you a year ago?
Yeah,
Harry, you're
they-
low again. What happened?
Am I
Sitting
low?
on your mic?
I think
You
I
were
was.
for a second there.
The peanut butter
Yeah.
is on it. Let me see if I can.
Yeah. Sound comes out of your mouth, not your ass.
Is that better?
Unfortunately, yes. Oh man, giving us that Dustin angle.
Look at my nose.
The
Dude. It's like
dusting
someone
angle.
hit it with a golf club.
This is really
Barry kind of
hard.
looks like the kind of guy where all his holes look the same. They're all just like dark with a rim of hair around them.
Yeah, The Resistance I thought was good. It was kind of tough to read given what's going on, but it was a good book.
Cat.
Yeah,
I might read it.
I think now that we're sort of in the middle of that,
Look at this.
like the conspiracy, that it's a conspiracy kind of thing is not what I especially want to like see now. Like to me, what's interesting is, okay, a real virus like that passes through the country. What if, what would we really do if this was actually a little bit more dangerous, basically, and not just like base it in like the sort of that conspiracy, that standard conspiracy sci-fi thriller sort of,
Yeah.
Well, it does kind of look like it's going to go into space at some point.
Oh, look,
we'll
more
see what
Lobo.
happens.
yeah.
I just found that Lobo. What are the odds?
Nick, I forgot if you said you read Resistance.
No, I haven't read it. But I got my LCS to put it in my box. But that doesn't mean much because it's shut down. So I don't know when I'll ever get to read a comic again.
I read all 4 of those Upshot AWA books. I thought they were all pretty good, but I thought the Resistance and the Hotel one was the 2 best.
Yeah, those are gonna be. They seem to be everywhere. They did well with the marketing. They seem to be everywhere. So those will be dollar. I think those will be in the dollar bins pretty soon.
Oh, you think so?
I think so. I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong, but they're everywhere. Like,
yeah,
they did a really good job to get us all to buy them. Basically.
Yeah, I thought the red border was a little was okay. I didn't care for the Archangel 8 too much, but we'll see.
What the hell are you doing, Perry?
I'm trying to look for the red border book.
Oh. Hey, read the red border in black and white, Perry. I didn't really like the coloring in that book.
Look, so you see this the Upshot now?
Yeah.
This is the one with the Frank Cho, like it's got the Resistance, Archangel Hotel. And then the other one, The Year Zero by Ben Percy.
So they're like preview copies, is what it looks like.
Yeah, but I think this is the one that has the full issues.
So, Bub, you were reading new books on your tablet, and then you just stopped. What happened? I came in right when you were saying that.
Who's that? Me?
Yeah, I just kind of got
Bub.
bored with them.
Oh, Bub.
I mean, I was reading books on my tablet like at lunch and after work and stuff. I just put my tablet with me, and then I just kind of got tired of reading them on there. And you know, there's videos to watch, so instead of reading it, I ended up turning on like YouTube or whatever, and kind of fell off reading.
Yeah. What the hell is he showing now?
It's a new book, Devil's Highway. But look, what does that look like?
Dildo.
It looks like a sick out.
A broken one too.
Looks like a shoe.
Goes
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
So, Perry, how do you talk all these publishers into sending you books when you don't review anything?
I do review books.
Oh, yeah?
Probably
Oh, it's that Frank Cho book.
Was that an evil basketball player?
Yeah.
Those boobs aren't big enough for Bub to put them in his collection.
You know, it looks. I don't know. They're okay. I saw when he was doing the Kickstarter for that run, and I really like Frank Cho, but I felt like this was some of his more vanilla work. It looked kind of boring to
Fight
me.
Girls.
So, what book was that?
Yeah.
Which
Fight Girls.
Hey, Bear.
Oh, Fight Girls.
11 women, 4 challenges, 1 crown. Winner rules.
I don't even know. I don't know if I read Frank Cho. What would I have read?
Seen his cover work. He did Harley, right?
Liberty Meadows is probably his most famous run.
Yeah, I didn't read that.
Where he wrote and drew it.
So is that the general
I've got
rule of
one of
thumb
them
when
because it's signed. I picked it up.
when they send out these books as promo, they usually send them out in black and white? Is that usual rule of thumb?
Not really. That's just, I don't know why they did that. I know Image does that too with their direct cuts. But yeah, no, they just, I talked to them and I guess they're like, oh, you seem like a nice guy. Here's some free books. I'm like, cool. I don't really know how it works. Maybe because I send them like 30 messages a day. They just get tired of me.
Well, I mean, you start with asking. I mean, Dylan doesn't have a ton of subscribers. He just asks, and some give him, some don't. You know.
Yeah.
For the most part, people sent me stuff that found me.
Yeah, Dylan's professing his mad cave love at the moment.
Oh, if you were on Two Brothers last night. Well, Two Brothers too. I mean, they gave them both a bunch of
mad cave shit. I'm like, oh my god.
Hey, I didn't ask for anything.
I'll be back.
Just showed up.
Hold
I don't ask. Man, I look so bad. I gotta shave.
Yeah, you don't shave in a zombie apocalypse.
What if it like really turned into The Walking Dead? I was thinking about that earlier. Not that I think it would be, but how cool would that be?
Well, it'd be more fun than
Like,
what it is now, that's for sure.
Yeah, it'd be cool until like you saw your family being eaten alive. Then you'd be like, "Oh, that's not that cool."
I think that's a good measure. Yeah, that's the way I'd look at it.
Like, it's cool up until that point.
Yeah.
If there's slow zombies,
Seems
they
so
have a
much cooler when
chance.
y'all
The
were
fast
alive.
zombies,
What was I
I'm
thinking?
fucked. That's why I always vote for slow zombies, because I might be able to get away from them. Fast
No, my
zombies, I'm
fat nuts
done.
get caught immediately.
Of course,
I
in the
just have to be faster than
Walking
you
Dead,
guys.
Walking Dead, they got the ninja zombies. No matter what happens, they always get behind you.
Oh man, dude, it's crazy, dude.
So we were talking earlier that I did read online that I guess some of the publishers might start holding back books and not shipping them.
Mad Cave's already doing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
BC's delaying stuff. So.
Yep. But that's got to be 2 or 3 weeks out, though, right? Because Diamond has to have these books a couple weeks ahead, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most LCSs get their books not on. The smaller ones get them on Tuesday, but I see some of the bigger ones getting them on the weekend.
Yeah, I think the big cause of it is to kind of help alleviate some of the pressure on LCSs to buy books. You know, if we can delay them for a minute, you know, they won't feel as pressured into picking them up.
But that doesn't make that much sense because they would have paid for these books 2 months ago.
Right.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, like future books or whatever.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. That's my dilemma
future
right now.
books
Is
when we need them.
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I went
Yeah,
over to Discount Comic Book Service like 2 months ago for my polls. So I paid for 2 full polls for a month, like $200. I haven't gotten one book yet. So, you know, that's going to be an issue. Do I keep on still ordering these things when, you know, are they going to show up?
I don't know. I hold a small pull list with Midtown Comics so I can make sure I get the big books. And I say big books, like just certain books that my LCS sometimes says they can't get a hold of. And I'm kind of worried about getting anything from them because New York's such a hotbed for everything right now.
Well, they're closed.
They're still shipping.
Yeah, so they might still be shipping. They're closed, though.
Hey, where did you get that mask?
The ER the other night. They made you wear it.
Who does?
That's smart.
The
jock
emergency
strap?
room. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh shoot, dude! I am in public and this is loud.
we got to
out
start.
loud.
We're short on masks, guys. We got to start using our jock straps.
Let me put my headphones in because it sounds terrible.
Did you get your herpes medicine?
Yeah.
Did you get your herpes medicine? Did you
Not
get
yet.
that taken care of?
We're going right now.
All right.
Yeah.
See if somebody can help you.
I mean,
Next
listen,
to the itching and burning aisle.
You could squeeze the genital ones, but try not to squeeze the face ones.
That's right.
All right.
You know you're still contagious
No.
even though you're not showing symptoms.
Yeah.
Hold on, it's still loud.
You look like you might have a disease.
Yeah,
Oh, this is interesting.
for sure.
See, this
Well,
is the comic showing view that no one uses, right? I always feel like this is the view you should do when like people are showing comics together. Yeah, you know, like look, it fits perfectly in there. No one uses this view.
It does. It
When
does
it's
work a
true.
little bit better than that.
Yeah. Sometimes,
that.
like during the hunt, for example, or during comic gories, if it's 3 people on there, you just shoot this one up. Host and the 2 people showing the comics.
I like it.
But
Jay Blitz's
What the
masks
fuck
for
do I know?
pussies.
yeah, see, there you go. Hey, a comic. I'm glad you guys are collecting those comics.
Yeah, 1-2 Comic. I emailed them because they should have at least shipped my first 2-week pull, but they haven't. So I don't know what's going on.
I got like about $92 in pre-ordered stuff coming. So Archangel 8, for example, is one of them. And I
Yeah,
started trying to switch.
most of my main titles are the ones I got coming out, so I haven't read any of them. So
I started trying to switch to like nicer hardcovers, and even if I want to like buy the stupid stuff, like to me that's what pulp is today, right? Like War of the Realms, like you spend so much goddamn money on it, but I might as well just, I get like the trade makes it easier for me to like.
The only thing I get with the trade though is sometimes some of those series like War of the Realms is the publisher decides what he's going to put in the book. In other words, he'll put in the run, and then he'll put in a couple side issues, and it's those couple side issues that sometimes there's other stuff that they don't put in. They just figure this is important to the story, whereas you read this, and so sometimes you don't have a say when you buy it in a trade as to what exactly you read as part of the story. They make that decision. So that's the only downside to it, I find.
Yeah, well, you could almost consider that an upside, because the other side is buying all the stupid tie-ins, buying all the stupid tie-ins for a story that, I mean, in the end, is not that great. Like, let's be honest. In the end, it isn't that great. If Jason Aaron could just write it on his own without 70 tie-ins and stuff, it probably would be. But just when you stay current, like if they do that, that's perfect to me. Oh, throw in this Strike Force tie-in, throw in the ones I need, kind of thing.
Oh, I like that Get Smart book. Yeah, I love those Dells. I can't find any Dells. I've been looking around for them, but.
Well, I was too young when that show came on. Well, I mean, it was already off when I was young, but Get Smart and Andy Griffith sort of, I remember as a kid, I still remember this, sort of singled the time that Nickelodeon changed from cartoons to like regular shows. They would stick to Nick at Night at 9. And so Get Smart was one of them. Andy Griffith was one of them. And then I forget the other show now. So when I see it, like I feel like that childhood like cringe, like, oh god damn it, Bugs Bunny's over. I gotta watch this shit.
Well, Get Smart was pretty for its time. There's a lot of stuff that I think a lot of double entendre stuff that got slipped through that when you watch it today you can catch, but they didn't catch it back then. I'm
sure I'd love Get Smart today, but
Mel Brooks stuff rarely goes out of fashion.
Yeah.
Well, depends who you ask. I love Mel Brooks, but it'd be like sometimes it'd be on it, but like, does this person know who Mel Brooks is? Because this is going to look really, really, really racist that I'm watching this. Like you sort of don't know where he's coming from, to get Mel Brooks nowadays.
Now Jay Blitz is saying we didn't come in and join his panel. I didn't know Jay Blitz had a panel. I must have missed that one.
When, right now?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm talking about chaos. And they never which panel?
I wasn't asked to come in and join the panel.
I'm a veterinarian.
Yeah, everybody tells me I can only come on and join at night for some reason. I don't know why.
Those are the streams I look for at night. I didn't understand what you were doing on during the day. I was like, what the hell is Scarpad doing on during the day?
This is my PG show.
Must be.
PG show.
I didn't even know you had a channel. Do you have a channel?
There you go. Drop the link. Drop that link.
Yeah, Z. Drop the link to where the hell's Z? Well, he's not there.
Bub's like, I didn't even know you had it. He's all, I just clicked the link you sent me in
Instagram. I'm just waiting for somebody to make me an intro that I'm actually in.
I didn't see JB's intro. What happened? It doesn't have that like.
I'm not really in.
I thought you were in JB's intro. Oh, I'm not in it. I'm not in mine. I'm not in mine at all. It's just Kramer.
I'm not in it either. I'm thinking about. I send like $1 a month to JB on his Patreon, and I think I'm gonna drop it and see how long he leaves me in the Patreon supporters. See if I can get like 5-6 months out of it before he realizes. And when he takes it off, I'm gonna sign up again for $1, make him put me back on, then take it off again.
Do it for 2 days. Yeah, do it for 2 months.
Yeah.
Jay Blitz says he was live for 8 hours. I must have missed it, man. I don't know why. I was probably watching
live this weekend.
I don't know.
There was one live show. What was that, last night, Jay Blitz? I was on Two Brothers for a minute, and then Bueller and Sleepy Reader and all those guys were doing the Portland Comics chat, so I was jumping between those.
Yeah. I caught 10 minutes of that. That's about it.
Yeah.
You guys must be talking about like earlier in the evening because I was thinking like at midnight.
It was late. No, yeah, it was around 10 o'clock. The Portland guys were on.
Oh, okay.
I spent most of the day
remember.
watching movies yesterday. I watched Invisible Man, which you probably saw my review. It was okay.
I saw it. I liked it.
And,
yeah, it was.
And
okay.
I watched 1917,
Poor
which I
Mr.
thought was
Ed.
very good. I don't know if anybody's seen that yet.
Yeah, I saw 1917 in the theater.
Yeah, it was
That
good.
was,
I liked it.
That was good. My only problem with 1917, this is not a spoiler, but you know, it's it tries to be a long shot, essentially. But I feel like even the parts in the car, I feel like I could jog the entire way they moved in like 30 minutes. Like a 2.5 hour movie. Like
Was that movie supposed? They said that was supposed to be one shot. You said
it's not a single shot because there's a section in the movie where he gets knocked out and then wakes up in the dark, right? But you do always see where they go because they walk for a long time. A lot of the movie is in not bunkers but trenches,
right.
But like they're walking and the movie's going along, and then you know there's an action scene and stuff, and et cetera, et cetera. But you see where they walk the whole time, and he gets pretty damn far. But I feel like it's like to the grocery store essentially. Like when you watch 1917, as great as it is, you see they walk the whole time.
Yeah.
They do get in the car for a little bit, but not that long, you know, and there's no cuts. Like, so if he's 5 minutes in the car, it was actually 5 minutes of driving, right?
Right.
And at that part, at least. And
I just kept on thinking if he didn't stop to give the baby some milk, the whole first wave of guys probably would have survived.
Yeah. But it was a great movie.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
It's
it was definitely a great movie, though.
You can Google it, so it's no spoilers.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't technically a true story, but I don't think.
No, it wasn't a true story.
No.
It was definitely a good movie, though. Definitely my top 10 of last year.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
He have a tin can on his head? Maybe top 15.
That's the golden age Flash right there.
I know.
That's pie plate Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that suit pretty well.
That's like Flash. He doesn't actually have powers, and he only got a gold medal in the Olympics because it was only white people allowed.
No Kenyans. Hashtag no Kenyans.
Yeah. That's what I think of golden age. Oh, man.
Yes, where are you going? You're walking around your house in circles? What's going on?
I'm a pacer. I pace. I have to work in a second, so.
You got to do what kind of work?
It's Sunday.
Yeah, people don't work on Sundays.
Huh?
People don't work on Sundays. What's going on?
I mean, pastors do. Who was earlier saying they had the church? Oh, it was Nick. Or no, it was you.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize you were a pastor.
Church. Hey, Bub going to church just is like, oh. So
Are you actually?
I think you went better, man. About 5-6 years ago.
Are you actually a pastor?
I was the praise and worship leader at my church about 5-6 years ago. You imagine that?
Yeah. Do they watch your videos?
They asked me to leave. It was before YouTube.
Yeah. Do you see the comics?
Before then.
So which one of you two guys could actually perform the exorcism?
Not me.
I mean, I'm more likely to need the exorcism performed on me.
I hate exercise in all its forms.
All definitions.
Yeah. Yeah. So I should call my LCS this week and find out if he's going to be open or not, but I don't know. I have no idea. I feel bad for the one guy because one of the LCSs, which is further from me, he's one of these guys that do the gaming and all that. So he has a huge store, and I think most of his money comes from getting the people into the game, and that's not happening anymore. So
yeah,
what game?
I think he does, Magic and all that. Yeah.
Oh,
mostly
yeah.
Magic.
So it's mostly that kind of hobby store.
No, it's more of a comic store, but I think he gets more people in there, more traffic for the games. He does the comics, obviously.
Oh yeah,
Those kids spend a lot of money. Like when I used to call them kids, whatever. Those 25-year-old young adults,
Yeah.
they spend a lot of money. They sit around, they buy like snacks and drinks and all kinds of stuff. And then they was coming up and buying like an individual card for like $20 or a bag of dice or something like that. I mean, it's constant.
I would have to think there's a pretty good markup on Magic stuff.
Yeah.
So than comics.
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe not the booster packs probably have the same similar
individual
margin.
cards.
Yeah, but when you have those individual cards, then kids come and buy those. That's the only big problem with Magic is that it is it's richest kid sort of,
Well, one of the guys I used to work with, he used to buy the entire box just to try to get one card or two cards or whatever. So
people still do that. If you guys, I mean, I don't know if you guys watch anything with sports cards or anything like that, but something popular in the like sports card collecting world is they do breaks, right? So they'll open a whole box. But what you do is like they'll break it in a certain way. Like I might get all the teams, you go spend like $20 and then you get everything that's one team. If there's a rookie card on a certain player, you know what I mean? That team would be more expensive, etc. I'm really surprised I don't see that much for Magic cards, because for most, even for a 25-year-old to buy like that $120 box, is expensive, right? But if you could sell breaks and let someone buy all green, let someone buy all white, let someone buy all, I don't know how familiar you are with that game, but there's like individual colors. And I don't know why
I've seen some kids come in when I'm in the LCS. I've seen some young kids come in and buy some pretty expensive cards and boxes. They're either getting the money from their parents or someplace. It's like, damn, I was lucky when I was a kid if I could get $1 to go buy 2 comic books, and now they're buying $100 boxes of Magic cards.
I got
Times
summoned,
have changed.
guys. Gotta go. Ciao.
What's that?
I got summoned. I have to go. I'll try to get back in the chat.
All right, take it easy, Cass.
All right, have fun.
So are you doing any actual Star Trek collecting at the moment?
For me?
Yeah. You buy any of the books or anything?
I've picked up who has it right now? IDW?
Yeah.
Or Dynamite? Is it IDW has it right now?
IDW has it, yeah. Had it for a while.
I've picked up a few of the modern issues, but they're really just cover buys. I haven't gone deep into the new stories. I started reading Year 5.
Yeah, Year 5 has been pretty decent.
It was okay. I'm somewhere up around where Spock gets elected president or something like that, and it just seemed a little much. And I was like,
Yeah. Well, that was I think it was one issue. They've been pretty episodic, 1 or 2 issue runs for most of the stories. They have a Khan book coming out that looks pretty good, and they have a Deep Space Nine book coming out. Yeah.
And I tried reading some of the Boldly Go with the new cast. It was okay, but it didn't really hold my attention.
Yeah, I didn't really care for too much because I'm not a big fan of the J.J. Abrams movies anyway. Although the comics were actually better than the movies, I thought, but I didn't buy a lot of those.
The movies are okay. For me, the Kirk character is the only one that really bothers me. I thought that they pretty much got everybody good enough, and when I started watching those, I don't
remember Spock like fighting, screaming, yelling, being an action hero.
Too. So I thought I was going to have a bigger problem with Spock when I first started watching him, but I thought they did okay. Whatever. It's a different telling of Spock, but I thought that the Kirk character, even though I like the actor that they picked to do it, I thought he looked the part, and I thought that he could act the part, but I felt like the script was bad.
Well, they took one aspect. They took one aspect of Kirk. The big joke in the old show was he's always betting aliens, which really didn't happen all that much in the show, and they just turned that into his only attribute in the movies.
Right, and what bothered me was that he's much more unflappable and much more stoic and duty driven. One of the things that I loved about Kirk was that he was in love with the ship first. He betted these aliens because he didn't have to love them to bet them, but he was in love with the ship, and the crew, and he would sacrifice himself. And he was the character. He was the captain because if you let anyone on that ship vote who was going to be captain, they would still vote for Kirk because they knew that he would get the job done, and they believed in him. And this Kirk seems like he's a lucky guy, flying by the seat of his pants.
Right.
Like, I don't see why anyone on the crew would respect him or want him to be in charge all the time.
Yeah, I mean, they came in the first movie, they dropped him on an ice planet just so he could meet up with the old Spock. That was the only plot point to do it. It was just dumb. The movies.
Yeah.
I thought they actually the last movie, which was what was that? What was the last one they did?
I forget. Is the one with the chick with white and black skin or something?
Yeah, that was actually the best I thought of the three.
That's pretty decent.
The truest to the show, and of course it did nothing because at that point most people gave up on it. But
yeah,
But I watched I think Jambo Comics. He's currently he has all the old gold key.
That's my big buddy right there, Jambo. Woo!
I always wanted to start those, but it's a lot of money to start trying to get all those gold key issues. I mean, in any sort of decent shape. I mean, you can get them, 1/8 and 2/8 all over the place, but if you want to get them in halfway decent shape, it's a lot of money.
He's almost done with that collection. I think he's only missing like 3 books.
Yeah, he's only missing like 3. I saw that. Yeah. In fact, I sent him a message because I want to do a video with him at some point. And,
well, throw me in on that. I wouldn't mind doing it.
Yeah.
If you don't care.
Yeah.
I'll show you this. This is what started my collection. My whole comic room was built around this piece.
Oh, yeah.
And it's an original model kit from the original series.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it in a comic shop. And, of course, I bought it. And I have a friend, or actually a cousin, who lives nearby, and he does models. So I gave it to him to do for me. I also bought a cutaway model and gave him that as payment. And I had a signed autograph from Doohan, Scotty, with his name on it. Just happened to be, I found it at a comic shop. His name was Randy, and it said to Randy. So I was like, oh, perfect. So I gave him that. And so that was my payment for it. But he did a pretty good job. And this is not.
It looks good.
He had to, it's all custom decal work, all custom painting, of course. He had to sand it down and add, I guess, weights in the nacelles because it didn't balance right. And, these old kits were pretty rough.
Yeah, I have
used metallic copper there. Isn't that nice?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a whole closet full of those kits, and I ended up pretty much selling the majority of them. I have a few of them left because I just don't. My modeling skills aren't sufficient enough.
Oh, me too. It's
to
terrible.
do a good job. I don't want to start something and have it come out like crap. So, and that's why for a while I was buying the Eagle Moss die-cast ships.
Oh yeah,
they're nice, but they're expensive. $60 a model is a lot.
And I think they're resin, right?
They're metal and plastic, mostly metal and some plastic. Yeah. I have pretty much all the Enterprise ones, and then I stopped. And now I'm just buying the ones. If I see one I like, I buy it individually because, as I said, if you buy them once a month, $60 a pop every month is a lot of money.
Can you pre-order those and save a little on them?
Well, I mean, if you're on the subscription, they kind of just send you whatever one they send you.
Oh, okay.
You can order them from the website, but you don't quite get the same discount.
I've heard pretty bad things about their subscription, though, being like they won't send things, or they send them out of order, or they make you wait like 6 months for something that came out everywhere else.
I never really had a problem because I don't know. When you're on a subscription, they kind of send things in order, so you don't get a lot of the recent stuff right away, anyways, because they're sending you things as they got shipped out. So now I just wait for a sale on their website, and if I see something I like, I just get it there.
That's cool.
Or you can buy it from eBay. eBay, there's a ton of them out there. Everybody's selling them, and you can usually get a pretty good deal on them. But my problem is I'm out of space. I don't have any more display space between that and all my other crap I have. So
yeah, that's like everybody else. Here's a nice I don't think it's a photo. It could be a photo. I don't know. It's kind of like an airbrush photo though.
Yeah, that's like issue 1, yeah.
Is it? Oh yeah, it is.
So. Yeah.
So I found that in a dollar bin. So when I find ones like this, I really liked the new ship, I have to say. I have to say that I like the special effects of the new movies, and I like the new ship.
Yeah, I don't like the.
Done well.
I don't like that version of the Enterprise at all. I thought they did a shitty
Really?
job. But yeah, the NASA's are horrible on that. It looks like a bloated cow. I'd rather. I think they did a better job in the Enterprise redesigning it in Discovery than they did on that movie.
I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah, you're not missing too much, but they did redesign the Enterprise. They did a nice job on it. So
I got this one.
yeah.
I just thought that was a great cover.
I don't think I have it. I don't think I have most of those digitally, but I don't think I have any of them in paper.
Well, I broke down and like I said, I couldn't really. The stories were okay, but some of the covers I really thought needed for $1 if I see them cheap.
I would say
this story's great. I've thought about picking up the rest of them. I only had the first one.
Oh yeah, I have that. I have the hardcover of that trade.
Is the rest of the story pretty good?
Yeah, it's not bad. Most of those crossovers the IDW did with the Transformers and Green Lantern, they were all pretty good. They were all pretty decent.
I have the Green Lantern one, but it was a sketch cover, and I had it done at a con with a commission. It's actually right behind me. It's like right there.
Oh yeah, I think I see it. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, I'll grab it real quick. It's just in the frame. Well, you can tell it's been a while since I pulled that off the wall. It
the paint came off with it.
Yeah, for real, it did. It's on the back.
Yeah, you can get those. That's nice. So that's just the blank cover you had somebody do a sketch of.
Yeah, it's a blank cover, and I had him do a portrait sketch of me and my family. So obviously, this guy didn't know what the hell he was doing. And there's, I look like a bloated Chinaman Kirk there, so that's no good. And then that's my wife, but that looks nothing like her, thank God. And but he did my son perfect. That really looks just like him. So
she looks a little bit. The woman there looks a little like the Doctor from The Next Generation.
I think that's what he was going for. I think he was trying to mix in like the characters
and
with
you,
us.
And you look a little like the Indian guy, Chetoke on Voyager.
Well, that's no good.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah. That's so that's the
I
only
would say if you're gonna
have.
collect comics, I would recommend probably I think the first volume of the DC Star Trek comic is the best run they've ever done. The second volume, what's that?
The story is the best.
I think the overall run of just the story and everything, I really like that. Volume 1, Volume 2 is good too. So I would recommend if you can get Volume 1 and then Volume 2 of the DC runs. I think the first run on DC was 56 issues, and the second run was 80 issues.
Oh wow!
And you can find most of them pretty cheaply. They were good. They were these over here. I can show you. They got the.
You got to get those books closer to you.
Well, they're right behind me here. This is the first run.
Yeah, I remember seeing those. I've passed on those only because I don't really like the Kirk from the movies as much. You know, the bloated, hair-pieced Kirk.
Well, they did a lot of good. Probably the best stories have come out of these issues. They did a mirror universe story that was really good, and they did a lot of 5-year mission stories mixed into them too. The thing about those books are that those books came out after Star Trek 2 and during 3 and during 4.
Right.
So they had a walk a line where they weren't sure what was going to go on in the movies because they, at the end of 2 they killed off Spock, and then he was off for a while. Then at the end of 3, Spock came back. and then 4, then they blew up the Enterprise in 3, so that's gone. So they had to work around all that. I thought they did a really good job working around all that and then incorporating it back in.
So, do they have Spock in those stories, or is he absent from some of them?
He's absent from some, and then when the movie came out, then they went ahead and followed him from that point forward. But what they had to do to incorporate where the characters were, why they're not on the ship, they did a really good job of it, and then following it up. So that's why I really like that run of it. And then of course you have the really kind of semi-ridiculous Marvel run.
Hey man, it doesn't get worse than this.
But yeah, no, I like that story.
I love this story, but it is ridiculous, but I love it.
The first one was good. The second one was not good. But the first X-Men Star Trek I thought was fantastic.
Is there a second one?
There's a second one. It's not very good though. The
I
second
have
one.
no idea. I'm gonna have to hunt that down just so I can have the cover.
Well, the second one is with the Next Gen crew.
Oh, never mind. I'm out.
But yeah, the next gen comic books, I didn't care for as much.
I'm gonna grab something. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab something.
Hey everybody. How you doing? Just look at some Star Trek books. Anybody want to jump on here? Feel free to jump on. We only got 4 people still watching us, so we're gonna geek it out and talking Star Trek here.
I picked this up for $3. $3, brand new. I already unwrapped it because that's what I do. As soon as I get something, I open it up. But I got this for $3.
Oh, that's the movies, yeah.
And when I saw Trilogy, I was like, whatever. I never wanted to pay for number 1. So
I love number 1. Number 1's one of my favorite.
Do you really?
Movies. Yeah.
I like the story okay. It's about an hour too long.
It is, but it also in the 70s, that's what movies were. They weren't big CGI fest. At least it attempted to be like that was the only Star Trek movie I felt that felt like a movie. The other ones felt epic and everything. The other ones kind of felt more like a TV show. They had lower budgets. They were better in a lot of instances, but I still like the first movie.
Well, it turned out that when I finally got it open and got it home and realized that it's actually numbers 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, it's 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. And
I was like, "What? That's perfect." Well, so for $3, Blu-ray.
God. Yeah, I got the 10. I have the box set that has all the movies in it. The 10 discs there, similar to that. But then if you can find some of these DCs, like the annuals for the first series, always had some good classic stuff. Like this had the first mission and the final mission of the Enterprise. Cool. Those are really good.
One of my favorite things about reading the original cast books.
And then this is the second volume right here.
I've had that before.
Yeah.
I've had that one. At one time, I was going through like a peddler's mall and I was picking up all the Star Treks they had. And then it was kind of hard to follow because they're not single issue storylines. So it was like I didn't know what I was reading. I was confused a lot. And they really don't do a very good job in the beginning of telling you what happened prior. They just kind of jump right in. And so I was getting confused and I said, I'm not going to. And there's so many of them. I figured I might as well not even.
I bought all those in the 80s. So those are all ones I bought originally back in the 80s. And then I still have some. I do have some gold keys.
Oh, nice. I wanted to get number 55 because I like the ones that feature the ships on the cover. And I also like when they started putting the photos in the little TV screens at the top. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a nice touch too. So I got to get a few of those. 55 is the one I'm after, though.
Let's see which ones I have here. I have a few, but I don't have a lot. I have to get some more of them. That's probably the best one with the ship in it is this one right here.
Wow.
Nice.
I like the Cyclops. I love that. See, I like the little TV screen in the corner with Spock and Kirk. I really like that.
Well, I thought these are good because they're very pulpy. You know, I love the
yes.
They're not very accurate, but they're interesting.
Yeah, that's nice.
They had great covers. I mean, they were very well done.
Yeah, I thought so. Very nice. Had a kind of a Warlord of Mars feel to it. That's cool.
That was the first. I think that was the first one I ever bought. It's pretty beat, but that was my original. I think I got it in 1974.
About read the cover off it, haven't you?
Well, pretty much.
Oh, I like that one a lot.
So I got a few of them, but I need to pick up more.
They're out there, but people want a little, I don't know. I mean, they're collectible, and I'd like to have them, but it seems like they want just a little too much for them.
Well, that would be my grail. I've seen a lot of the, you can get like the first one in 9896, but it's like $1,600. And I really don't want to spend that much for a book.
No. That's out of my price range too.
And let's see, Collecting Chaos says I enjoyed both runs.
Hey, Man Cave's in the house.
Hey, Man Cave. Hey, Dylan, you want to jump in? I think we have somebody in the ready room here. Hold on.
Oh, do we?
Scarpad and Bugs.
There he is.
So I got a few minutes before I got to hop on to work. And for all the 90-holics in the chat, YouTube is 90.
Hey, Dylan. Well, Dylan's got to go to work.
Man.
I feel bad.
Not much, man. Just sitting here watching Little Man before I got to clock in for work. I saw the invite from Scarpad, so I figured I'd hop on real quick, see what's good with y'all.
You have to clock in for work.
Oh, I haven't seen you in hours.
Are you talking about actual work or?
Yeah, actual work. I gotta work from home, so you know. So
just watch Netflix. They'll never know.
Yeah, well, I watch all of you guys. What are you talking about? You know?
Yeah, I saw you guys. I saw you guys last night on the stream about 1 a.m.
Yeah, man. 84 went late, so I was like, hey, I'll hop on with him. You know, why not? So and it's always fun hanging out with 84 and Biggie Shaq and Hialeah. So.
No, 90. You a big Trek fan? Don't you have any Trek comics?
I'm more of a Star Wars guy myself.
Oh yeah.
Not that I hate on Star Trek. Like if it's on and nothing, you know, I'll watch it. But I'm not. I guess it was. I don't know. It didn't really appeal to me. I guess you know, growing up. I mean, it was always on. Always on. I remember coming home from school and it always being on. Me and my brother, you know, kind of putting it on. But I guess the more the fantasy of Star Wars, I guess, kind of you know. Enticed me. Where you know Star Trek, I don't know, it has that fantasy aspect, but it's very, I guess, science and you know what I mean. And I don't know, I felt like it was targeted for an older crowd, where Star Wars was, you know, when I was a kid growing up, it was targeted for me, you know. So, but I don't hate on it, you know.
It used to be targeted that way. Now it's kind of targeted at morons if you watch any of the new shows.
Yeah,
unfortunately. But. Yeah, now the Star Wars stuff. What do you buy for Star Wars comics? I know you're only going digital.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, I own I do own the entire first Vader run that when Marvel got it back, the Gillian run, which is incredible. Also, when Jason Aaron took over Star Wars as well, I own that run up until I want to say to the point. Well, actually, no, Gillian took over that run at one point as well, but. Also to the Charles Soule Vader run. I mean, the Kylo Ren thing right now is awesome. I mean, I
was surprised I liked Kylo Ren because I hated that character, but he was actually tolerable in the book.
Yeah, no, well, that's because Soule, you know, he's an incredible writer, man. And then when it comes to I do have some Dark Horse, you know, StarArs as well. I have the first appearance of Thrawn, Heir to the Empire, and a couple of you know, some Darth Maul books from that time as well. So
yeah, they did a Knights of the Old Republic series that was pretty decent too. I remember.
And then I was able to,
I actually liked the Dark Horse, the Star Wars series that came out right before Marvel got the the run again from Dark Horse. It was they put it out, I think, in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty decent.
Yeah. So
I read the I finally got the first issue of Bounty Hunters. I didn't really care for that too much. I didn't think that was all that great.
I still want to give it more time, because for me it seemed all over the place. And I love me Dr. Afra as well, man. She's such an awesome character. I did like to see her show up with Black Kakistan in that Bounty Hunters issue. Her and BK. And as much as I love Chewie, man, BK doesn't get enough, bro. That is a just vicious Wookiee, bro. BK.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And then of course Triple Zero and BT. So those guys are the Death Droids. They're awesome as well, man. Bro, look at Bubs just going ham. Yeah, man. I have a lot of books that Steve sends me Star Wars. He'll pick it up and just send it to me.
Yeah.
So.
I
guess when it comes to Star Wars, I can show you guys this. Hold up real quick before I gotta.
I gotta start going and buying some of the back issues because I do them most digitally, but I want to pick up some of the runs.
So, as some of you may or may not know, my son's name is Luke, and for obvious reasons, and I don't have a first print Star Wars one. And then I was looking for one, and me and Hialeah went, hunting one day, and we came across one, and he wound up buying it right there in front of me. And then I thought, Steve was like, "Don't worry, bro. He's gonna A-OK that to you. There's no way." And then, sure enough, when my son was born, he's like, "No, I'm not A-OKing this to you." He goes, "I'm A-OKing this to Luke because this is the first appearance of Luke." So I was like, "What?" So then he went ahead and put it in the frame, and then we went ahead and put it in his room, bro. So this is his room right now. Hold on. It's a little weird with the laptop, but he's got the first
That's cool.
Star Wars hanging up in his room. This kid doesn't even know what's in his room, bro. So
and you got the nice splatter shield, so in case change time goes bad, you won't ruin the comic.
You know it. Come on, Bubs. You gotta keep that bad boy protected.
I've been there.
Yeah, I have quite a few in that run, but I don't have any. I don't think below 10. So, but I think I have most of mine at 10 and above in that run.
All right. Well, I might have to go change this guy or feed him. So I got the link Scarpad. I'll hop back in if anything. I appreciate the hot tag as well. Bubs, it's always a pleasure. We got to link up one day and do a stream, you and I. We'll chat out there about that. All right?
Yeah. I like it.
For all the 90 holics, YouTube is.
See you later.
Man. Scarpad, you ever been in a house listening to that?
Oh no, I got dogs.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah, so I'd like to go through and buy some of the Star Wars stuff. I read most of it digitally right now, but there's just so many Star Wars books. I don't think I can afford to buy them all.
There is right now. It's a pretty good time to jump on, really, because they're giving you all the reference points you need.
Yeah.
So all the Star Wars books right now are happening just after The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
So if you're familiar with the movie, you can pick up any of the Star Wars books that are out right now and follow from there.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to read them in order. I think I'm on the 4th trade of the first series of the New Hope series that came out just a little while ago.
Right. So those happened before other books, but if you don't if you missed those and you just wanted to get into the new ones,
you can jump in pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to read them in order, so we'll see. But I do like them. I think the first series in this was good. Which one is that?
This is Rebel Heist. It's like a short. It was a Dark Horse run, but they had all Adam Hughes covers, so I picked them up.
Yeah, Dark Horse had some good Star Wars books. It's too bad they lost that license.
That's fun. It's funny though. You can't even talk about Star Trek without eventually talking about Star Wars. They really are so intertwined for the culture.
I was always a Star Trek fan. I became a Star Wars fan.
Nothing wrong with that.
I remember when I first saw the first movie, I didn't like the first movie all that much. And then I really liked Empire Strikes Back. I think, of course, that's still my favorite film. And then I think after I went back and watched Star Wars, the first movie, after seeing Empire Strikes Back, I liked the first movie a lot more. So,
yeah, I think that the Star Wars universe is more organic. It has a lot of growth to it. So over time, I become more appreciative of other movies, like you know. And I liked the last movie that came out, The Rise of Skywalker. I thought it was great. I thought it was probably my second favorite of all the Star Wars movies. So, and it made me appreciate the prequels, which up until that very moment, I did not. I always felt like you could skip the prequels, never watch them, and
I like the prequels to a certain extent. I think probably I liked the first one and the third one the best. And then in the newer movies, I would probably say my two favorite movies, believe it or not, in the Disney area would be Rogue One. I thought that was very well done, and I liked Solo. I thought Solo was very well done too. I don't know why people,
Solo. It was fun. It was a fun.
I don't know why people hated that movie so much.
I don't know.
It was a lot of it was kind of, a lot of it was unnecessary, but it was still, you could say that about a lot of the movies.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take much to be unnecessary. It's a fantasy movie,
I think the biggest mistake Lucas made is waiting so long to come out with the next, 7, 8, and 9, because he waited so long. I can understand why they didn't put the emphasis on Luke Leia, because they were old by that point. I mean, it's tough to have them only be in the, to have scenes together and be the whole movie at that point, because it would have been kind of ridiculous. Although I think you could have came up with a story. I think that's what pissed most Star Wars fans off, is they waited so long and that the three of them were never together in the movie.
Yeah.
I think that really soured a lot of people on it.
Whenever you're dealing with a fan base that's that old, and I don't mean to say like the age of us, being like we're too old, but whenever you're spanning that many generations, I don't know that you could find a single movie in any property that's going to satisfy 4 generations of moviegoers. Good luck with that. I mean,
I'm not a huge J.J. Abrams fan, and to me, The Force Awakens, I enjoyed it for probably seeing Han Solo back and stuff. It was basically the same plot as A New Hope again. So, I mean, to me, going back to the Death Star, if I see another movie, let me guess, Death Star, enough for the Death Star. I mean, even Rogue One, to a certain extent, the Death Star plans. Again, I mean, there's so many stories in the Star Wars universe that now just get away. To me, if they make more Star Wars movies, get away from Skywalker and all that stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I don't want to see anything with Kylo Ren. I don't want to see Rey. Her story is done. Move on. And I think that's why The Mandalorian is so good, because it even though it's in that same era, it's still a new story we haven't seen before.
I agree.
And they got to move it away from all that.
I agree. And it really, The Mandalorian, the casting is phenomenal. They really just nailed every character. The casting is great. Original characters, you can't beat that. And then the idea that they were able to the universe is recognizable, because sometimes you'll have an offshoot or a spinoff show, and you can just tell that it has nothing to do with any of the events from the movies or the shows or whatever the property is. But they really found a way to give us recognizable visuals, language, callbacks to other movies and shows.
Right. Well, I think just because
the original.
Yeah, John Favreau, I think, is a big fan of the original universe, and I think the guy they got to do it, did the Clone Wars, had a lot of that background, so he was familiar with some of that, and they made it into kind of what the original was, kind of a Western in space, and this is going back to that. So, I'd like to see, I'd be interested to see if and that's why I'm kind of hesitant on seeing the Obi-Wan stuff. I mean, I like Obi-Wan, and I liked Ewan McGregor was great as Obi-Wan. Yeah. But really, what can that show be about? I mean, watching over for Luke again, I don't want any of that.
I completely agree. And to me, that is very similar to the way that I felt about Picard. Yeah. I didn't need more Picard story. If you didn't know who Picard was by the time you got through the Next Generation, then you just weren't paying attention.
Well, because the problem
he had a very slow arc to his character development. He pretty much was solid. He's the same character from the first episode to the last episode. You know how he's going to react. You know what he's going to say. They
did kind of throw that out the window. These guys, Patrick Stewart and the producers wanted basically the name Picard, but they didn't want to fall back any of the old stuff. So they jettisoned a lot of his character. I mean, the whole story. I mean, Picard wouldn't have gone back to his vineyard to grow old and die. He resolved all that in the TV show and the movies. In fact, in the movies, the vineyard burned down in Generations, and now it's back. And now it's back again. I mean, Picard, they should have done, if they're going to bring him back, is have him out in space, doing archaeological digs, and then something happens that's what Picard would be doing. He would be laying there in his vineyard and they wanted to have the Federation be bad this time because they wanted it to be like the government now. It's just, they didn't understand the whole idea behind Star Trek, the optimism. They jettisoned it all. And they saddled it with characters who do nothing but whine, complain, and have all the vices that we have now. That's not going to happen in the future. It never happened in the original show. You didn't see people smoking.
I was going to say that was a premise of all the original shows. I mean, every last one of them, with the exception maybe of Babylon 5 or whatever. They pretty much all dystopian had that futures. Better hope for the future, that we were evolved beyond all of that.
So I just didn't care for. I mean, same thing with Discovery. They just don't understand what Star Trek is, the bare bones of it. They're cash grabs, unfortunately. And
I watched the first episode of Discovery, and I was so disgusted I couldn't watch anymore. I said, I quit. I give up.
It got better in the second season. The story still sucks, and the only thing that really saved it is they brought in Anson Mount, who used to be in Hell on Wheels as Captain Pike, and his character was pretty good. And everybody says, "Well, we want to see a spin-off show?" I don't, because I don't think they write well for the series. I don't know. I'm not just fond of the new stuff, so. Maybe it's time to let Star Trek rest. There's enough shows out there if somebody wants to watch it that they can watch it and enjoy it. So,
me. All it does is it reminds me how great Star Trek should be. Mm-hmm. So, I'm rewatching the original series right now. When I get done with that, I'm going to rewatch Enterprise because those are my two favorite series. And then, don't be upset, but I'm going to skip the Next Generation because I've seen enough of it. I haven't seen every episode. But I've seen enough of it, and it all just was so the same to me. Well, but I am thinking about Deep Space Nine because people keep recommending that one to me. So I think I'm going to try that.
Deep Space Nine is my favorite Star Trek series because one, it was episodic, but yet it was serialized a little bit through the 5, 6 years, 7 years it was on, so that you got an overall arc. So it's a little more modern in storytelling. It's the interesting thing is they all throw around it's like Picard is dark, but Picard is dark for the sake of being dark. Deep Space Nine still handled like a war theme, but handled it in the way Star Trek would handle it, and it still has that vibe. So I think Deep Space Nine is my favorite show of all of them. The first year is a little rickety, like all Star Trek shows are when they get going. Yeah. So stick through the first year. Make it to year 2. And then I think from year 2 on out, although there's some good episodes in year 1, from year 2 on up, it's really, really good. I think Next Generation is probably the show that's aged the worst out of all of them. And then Voyager, I didn't care for Voyager when it was on. I could sit down and watch it, and Voyager has some good-ish episodes, but the premise, I never thought they fully embraced the premise. They jettisoned the ship, 70,000 light years from home. Think about all the stories you could have, like the ship when they get into battles. The ship when it gets into battles would have to stop at planets and try to fix and do all this stuff. They never did any of this. It was like Star Trek. It's just they happened to be out in a different area. You know, the ship got destroyed in one episode. The next week was fixed, and the people got along. They fought, and then they didn't. It was the premise. I just didn't care for it. And then Enterprise. I did like Enterprise. It was once again. It started off a little slow. The fourth season.
First season is real slow.
But then it got pretty good, and I think it was an overlook. By then, people were tired of Star Trek, unfortunately. But it's not a bad series, and the last year is really good.
The production value on that one's really poor too for its time.
Yeah,
it should have had better effects. It should have had better set design. You know, in its time, it was low budget, and so I also
thought it should have embraced the original series a little bit more. It tried to still do a little bit of its own thing. By the fourth season, they embraced the original series, and it was really the show it should have been the first 3 years. But by then, it was too late.
And the absolute worst opening theme song of any Star Trek show ever. It is horrible.
That didn't help. So.
Just terrible. Nothing Star Trek about it. Just
no,
horrific.
I mean Deep Space Nine and Voyager had much better. Even Picard has much better theme song than that was. But yeah, so I don't know. Have you ever watched Babylon 5?
I've tried. It is so out there. Is it even like? It doesn't even feel like a Star Trek show to me.
Well, it's not. The Babylon 5 is not a Star Trek show. It's a J. Michael Straczynski.
Oh, well, that explains it.
It's not a Star Trek show. No, Babylon 5 is his own show. See, Babylon 5 and
okay.
Deep Space Nine. Babylon 5 and Deep Space Nine came out at the same time, and J. Michael Straczynski, who just wrote that Resistance comic book, and he wrote Spider-Man and a bunch of other comic books, he pitched this idea of having a Star Trek show to the producers of Star Trek, except it would be based on a space station. And they all went, that's a stupid idea because you're not going nowhere. And then 6 months
to boldly stay where no one has stayed before.
Well, although Deep Space Nine did actually go somewhere, but they had to go off the space station. So 6 months later, after he pitched this, lo and behold, the light bulb went off, and they came up with Deep Space Nine all on their own, supposedly.
Right.
And they were on the air at the same time. So yeah, I think Star Trek did steal a little bit from Straczynski's pitch, and then they made their own show. But Babylon 5 is another one. It's a 5-year show that takes elements of like Lord of the Rings and a lot of science fiction and combines them. And it's another one of those shows that the first year is a little rough because they changed actors midstream. The lead actor left after the first season. He had issues, and they had to retool it a little bit for a new lead. But they still can't. They made it fit into what happened as far as where the. But if you can get by the first year. And years 2 through 5 of that show, well, I'll say this: years 2 through 4 of that show is some of the best science fiction ever on television.
Really?
Year 5. See, it was supposed to be a 5-year arc, and then year 5 was not going to happen. They got canceled, and they got picked up by another network. So they kind of had to rush a little bit of year 4 to make it kind of resolve itself. So
just in case.
Yeah. So when they picked up year 5. Some of year 5 is filler, and then the back end of year 5 kind of finishes the story, and they actually the last episode of the series, which finishes the story, actually was shot in year 4 as a bookend. But I recommend it. It's a great show. It's on Amazon if you have Amazon Prime. I really recommend watching it.
Is there anything to everyone talks about Firefly, watching Firefly? Is that? But then I've also heard that it was like canceled or whatever, so it's an unresolved story arcs.
Well, it kind of resolves itself in the movie. They did a movie called Serenity.
I've seen that, and I didn't know I never knew that there was a show, so I had watched the movie when it came out.
Yeah,
which
so
is obviously some time ago, but I never knew that there was a show behind it.
That's kind of the resolution for it. Yeah, it got canceled at the 14 episodes, but those 14 episodes are pretty good. Okay. I'd recommend watching it. But
I could probably do that.
Yeah, that was kind of a science fiction western too. It was a pretty decent show. But
I
yeah,
need to watch
if you get time to watch Babylon 5, I'd recommend that. That's a fantastic show.
Well, do you recommend, since those came out concurrent with Deep Space Nine, which one's the better recommendation?
It depends if you want to watch Star Trek or not. They're both good shows.
I always want to watch Star Trek. That's easy.
I think Babylon 5 overall is a better show, a better series, because in Babylon 5, unlike Star Trek, as you said before, Picard kind of always was Picard. He always stayed the same. He had a little bit of growth, but not really. In Babylon 5, characters grow from the first series into the last. Characters who thought were bad guys actually end up becoming the good guys, and the good guys end up becoming some of the bad guys. And it's really a good show. But Deep Space Nine is just a good Star Trek series, so I recommend them both. They're both excellent shows. Yeah, Deep Space
Nine
giving
me a hard time, huh? Saying it's a sin that I watched Serenity. I didn't know there was a show, and they should have named it Firefly the movie if they wanted to do that. You know, I mean, come on, they tricked me.
Yeah, when they came out the movie just to finalize, because it had a big fan base, and they came out with it just to finalize the show.
That's funny. Couldn't go up against Al Bundy. Boy, in the later seasons you could. Boy, they just got so mean and nasty towards each other. It was almost unwatchable.
Oh, the Married with Children.
Yeah, that show, when they were all like adults and.
Yeah, that show went on about maybe 5 years too long.
Yeah.
The first 5 or 6 seasons of that, some of the funniest stuff on TV, and then it just got kind of repetitive and not all that good. But it's like a lot of shows.
Pretty much created the Fox Network.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think I'm going to jump out of here. So thank you for coming and talking some Star Trek bubs. And
yeah, man, anytime.
We'll have to see if we can get Jambo in here and maybe even do a stream sometime about Star Trek comics, and you can show off all the Star Trek stuff that you have.
Yeah, he's got some good stuff too, man. He's got quite a collection. I'm hoping to see it in person. He's not too far from me. We're gonna try and I'm trying to woo him into someday letting me into his comic cave, so I can I can peruse it. So take.
Does he ever? I just watched one of his videos the other day. Does he ever get on camera, or does he do? Is it all off camera stuff?
He's not. He was going to be on camera. I had a show called Beast Hunters I did a couple weeks ago, where it was me, him, and Man Cave Comics, and we were going over, like big animal books, and and Jungle Ladies and stuff like that. And he couldn't get his camera to work, so. But he says he's got it fixed now. But I don't know if he's going to be on camera or not. But he's a lot of people in Kentucky. They're a little bit, scared to be on camera. So they've seen too many episodes of Cops.
or what's the new cop? Live PD now. So
yeah, Live PD. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll catch you later. Have a good afternoon. Thank you everybody for coming in and jumping in the chat, and we'll see you next Sunday for another one of these chat and chills. Until then, take care.
See you guys. Thanks.
Bye, guys.